Water Bros, and welcome to Barcast TV. I'll be your host today, VDB, and we are watching the Bar Pro League Season 7, Round of 16. We're going to be watching a best of 3, and let's head in and see who we're going to be watching. That's right, it's Sashkrin from Clan TM and Akumar6. Both very strong players in the 1v1 scene. They have a lot of games under their belt. But if I had to pick a favorite out of these guys, it would probably be Sashkrin. He's been on the bar scene for longer than Akumar has. But as I believe it, I think Akumar came from another RTS. So let's have a look at their stats. Sashkrin has a dual OS, a 1 vs 1 OS of 61. And seeing as this is a 1 vs 1 tournament, that's the only one that we'll be really paying attention to here. He has a win percent rate of 64%. He plays mainly Cortex, but does dabble in Armada fairly heavily, and his favourite map is Aurelia, which is a 1 vs 1 or a small teams map. You can see here from this graph that the longer a game goes on, the higher the chance that Sashkrin will win. Now, what this tells me is that he is a very strong macro player. You can see between the 15 and 25 minutes is where he's strongest, and that is where your early game economy really shows what your, where your mistakes are. Because if you've got an average early game economy, you won't be able to ramp the way that Sashkrin can. And as a strong macro player, that really reflects in his graph. Now let's check out his opponent, Akumar. Akumar, straight away we can see, has a 49 OS for 1 vs 1. He does have 700 1 vs 1 games in this season, though, so a very, very heavy 1 vs 1 player. He also favors Cortex and dabbles heavily in Armada as well, and he likes playing Canis River, which is a small teams and a 1 vs 1 map too. And you can see that it's actually the flip of Sashkrin's graph. He has a much higher propensity of winning the early game, and as the game goes on longer, it just increases Akumar's chance to lose. So, without further ado, let's head on in and look at our first map pick for this best of 3. Where's the maps again? This one. So, the first map these guys will be going into is the Eye of Horus. A pretty cool 1 vs 1 map. Not personally one of my favorites, but I do not hate it. That is because it is quite a diverse map. Now, looking at this straight off the bat, you can see there's a fairly decent wind. It is 1 to 25. 18 tidal for some reason, even though there's no water on this map. Absolutely no reclaim. And 4 geos. Now, you do have the geos... Whoops, that's not the right hotkey. Excuse me. You do have the geos in the bases here. I say in the bases because the stock standard spawn is in this center position, usually. And then you have a geo on the side here for both teams. Now, that does bring us into the spawn positions, which is, once again, the center position usually. And then you do have, sometimes you'll have people spawn on these side positions. I'm not quite sure what these guys are going to go with. But let's quickly talk about the spawn positions and what they favor. So I'll start with the basic central spawn position here. This does allow triple expansion paths. You can go to the right, you can go to the left, and you can go forwards. This is very nice for, early expansion economy, quickly ramping your eco. But it does make you spread your army quite thin, and you have to really be on top of your APM, especially on this map, to defend that position. And I'll explain why in a second. Let me just talk about these other 2 spawn positions, which of course is going to be these 2 corner positions. Now, the corner positions do afford some advantages. It does allow you to have a double expansion position instead of a triple. This may seem worse, but it just means there's less cons to protect, and that does allow you to use your army more diversely, as in you don't need as many guys defending, you don't need to spread your army as thin defensively, Same with this one. And you can actually use your spear units to raid with. So that is an advantage for that position. The disadvantage would be that there's not really a safe geo position because you sort of have to expand out a little bit to get that geo. It's not really behind your base like it is in the central position. Although the geo is a bit of a mid-game thing to take on this map. Alright, the second point I'd like to make on this map is that it is usually a bot map to open because all of these mountains you can cross with bots. You cannot cross them with vehicles, but there is a lot of hidden pathways for bots to get through around the map sneakily. So you do normally see bot openers on this map as opposed to vehicle openers. That's not to say vehicles aren't useful on this map. They are. And there's no reclaim on this map, so you're not really forced into going bots. But that's just what I'd like to show you guys to start. But yeah, that's basically the quick rundown of this map. So let's head straight into the game. The first game, best of 3 between Akumar and Sash Karin. Alright, we are in, ladies and gentlemen. Here we have it. We've got Akumar6 spawning in the corner position and Sash Karin in the central position. Personally, I do prefer the central position. We've got a Cortex Commander and you can see that lovely pumpkin head and poop medal here on Sash Karin. The medal, I'm pretty sure, is from Nation Wars. Sash Karin representing Eastern Europe in that tournament recently. He's going to be going for 3 wind turbines into a Cortex bot lab, okay. And his opponent in the top right corner, Akumar6, is Armada, wearing that beautiful witch's hat, also from Halloween. Going to be going for a 4 wind turbine bot lab opener here too. So not too much of a difference. I see Slick Like Vicar running around here in the spectator. Let me just double check I got spectator chat off. I do, just to make sure we can keep it all clean and free of visual discrepancies for you guys. Okay, Akumar finishes his lab. Straight away, I don't know how well you guys can see this build order. Let me click here so you can see it. He is actually building 3 ticks into 4 constructors, 5 pawns constructor, 10 pawns constructor, 10 centurions. Heckin' greedy. Very, very greedy build here from Akumar. And as these scouts head across the map, let's figure out what Sash Karin is doing. He's got himself up to 6 wind turbines. He's got his first constructor out. So he went for a double construction opener and then into some grunts. And then he'll be getting 20 grunts constructor, some more grunts constructor, rinse and repeat. You can see here that Akumar has these scouts coming across the map. No vision as of yet. He knows Sash Karin isn't in this corner. And he spots the base now. He's going to go for that constructor, but I highly doubt he is going to get it. No, that grunt cleans it up, no problem. Sash Karin needs to build a little bit more energy, and that's what he's doing right now. So Sash Karin going for a double expansion. Let's check in on those 4 constructors as these grunts move across the map for Sash Karin here. Okay, he's building LLTs. Hefty investment. He does have a lot of energy. He's actually overflowing a lot of energy. He has so many constructors, and he's about to build a 5th one. That's crazy work. That is very crazy work. He has 2 scouts in the base of Sash Karin. Looks like this tick here does get cleaned up. And then, oh, this one here is attacking. And is going to get cleaned up too. So no damage from the scout units from Akumar. But this is crazy. 3 LLTs, 6 constructors, and 3 mexes. He's spent all of his starting metal. And he's really only got 5 pawns to show for it. Not a very strong army at all. Now, he does have a strong defensive position. 3 LLTs and 6 pawns will ensure that. But my god, it looks like he's going to struggle expanding. As I said in the map breakdown earlier, the corner position here does force you to play... Well, I don't think I said it forces you, but it does force you to play a little bit more defensively. You can play a bit more aggressively, but Akumar has just straight up not built that much army value, so he's going to have to play defensively. He's building 2 more LLTs as we speak. This is crazy. I think... Please excuse me, I'm on the tail end of a sickness here. I just... My voice is a little bit rough. Yeah, Akumar's sort of putting himself behind. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back with these LLTs. LLTs do have their place in Beyond All Reason, but I mean, this back one's really going to struggle to see any action at all. It's just a little bit of a slowing of the tempo of the game for Akumar here. And you can see that Sash Karin's actually boxing Akumar in with only 500 metal of grunts. He doesn't need a lot to box him in here. He is expanding with his commander, which is quite nice because he really needs to get out and start getting those resources. But yeah, Sash Karin, just keep that pressure on. Our first Centurion is coming out now. 270 metal, 3,100 energy. That means that he needs to kill roughly 7 grunts to pay itself off. So it would have to solo kill all of these. Well, he doesn't have to do it all alone, but you get where I'm going. Okay, it looks like Sash Karin might pick up these 2. He's going for another LLT. I don't know. I think Akumar's shooting himself in the foot with this many LLTs, to be honest. Sash Karin is going to put a little bit of pressure on here. Is he going for it? No, he's just going to keep tickling Akumar and stopping these constructors from expanding southward. And the longer Sash Karin does this, the better Sash Karin's economy will go. Let me just quickly go ahead and make this mini-map a little bit bigger for you guys. Please excuse me. I just want to... It's already way bigger than I normally have it, but let's just make it even bigger so you can see what I can see. Sash Karin does get a nice little raid off. Loses about 100 metal worth of grunts, but does clean up a mix and an LLT. Does get a nice contain, but yeah, if you look at this, Sash Karin has expanded. 2 cons expanding, 1 went to the center. He's just living his best life right now. Excess energy is 15,000 for Akumar, which is insane. And all other economic metrics are in favor of Sash Karin. Did I see him building a lab and then he reclaimed it? Wasn't really paying attention, but he does have himself an energy storage. Another mix goes down for Akumar, and this Centurion is finally driving off that army. Now, I know I see Centurions need to get a lot of kills to get their value, but they do have a fair amount of value because they are scary for grunt players. You can see as soon as Sash Karin sees that Centurion, he is forced back. That is a lot of Centurions, though. While I don't hate Centurions, I think you can overbuild them, and it looks like Akumar is overbuilding them. They are very slow. They are nice and strong. This is a good trade here for Akumar. They are nice and strong, but they really do lack any sort of maneuverability. And building so many of them means that Sash Karin can just go around them. And they are expensive, so if the bulk of your army is a highly strong, highly immovable unit, expect raids to just run around you. Beautiful trade for Sash Karin there. Does drop a hefty reclaim field here, and it looks like a res bot will be coming out for Akumar. Might have been a donation. It depends if Sash Karin can take that back, and I can see that he has actually built himself a vehicle lab here, and he's already got himself a heavy? He's already got himself a contingent of incisors. Now, it looks to me like Akumar's actually overextending here. These incisors and these grunts are more than enough to take out these Centurions. Let's see if he does that. I just want to check in on this expansion. Looks like Sash Karin is expanding. He's got a single grunt in the back line. There you can see that these grunts and these incisors do clean up these Centurions. No problems at all. And the reclaim bot might even go down as well. Yeah, down goes that last Centurion. There's a couple of reclaim bots still up for Akumar, but he does need to get control of that reclaim field. You can see Sash Karin already has a reclaim bot here, getting that reclaim, and that metal is going straight to Sash Karin. Akumar actually opting to revive these units. I mean, it is a good play. It technically is on his side of the map, but Sash Karin's already reclaimed all the stuff he needs to reclaim, and not a single unit has been revived yet for Akumar. Akumar is actually stalling energy. So reviving units, he doesn't have the energy for it. And Sash Karin is going to put that pressure on and actually drive him off of that reclaim field. Akumar only got a construction bot revived, and that is it. Sash Karin definitely got the better of that trade, and this is looking dire for Akumar. His commander has made it all the way to the edge of the map. So he's still expanding, albeit very slowly. Sash Karin has had the whole map for quite a while now. He's starting to slowly expand to the center. He's got nice radar coverage. And Akumar just has so much metal. He's got 1,500 metal in LLTs that aren't really doing a whole lot right now. That is half the cost of Sashkarin's army just in LLTs, which means that Akumar could have an army half this size just running around. And I do hear planes. Sashkarin has dropped himself an aircraft lab with all that reclaim he just got. He's going to go for 3 bombers and a scout. And this might be a game-ending play if he gets a decent amount of damage done with these bombers. Let's head on over to Akumar's side while this raid over here happens. And we'll see if we can get a nice camera angle so we can watch the raid in the background and maybe the bombing run. Now, let's have a look and see where this bombing run should be hitting. If it was me, I would be going for the build power, which are these 2 construction turrets, and these blocks of wind. That is the high value targets right now. The wind, obviously, to cause energy stall to stop the production of Akumar, and the build power to also stop the production. I think the way to do bombing runs is build power, energy, labs. I think it's that order, unless it's like a T2 lab and you've got an atomic bomber. But let's see. Here's the scouts for Sashkarin. He does get a full scout on the base, so he knows where everything is. Does he remember where the construction turrets are? Let's see where these guys are bombing. Does get a block of wind. Doesn't quite get the con turrets on 6%. He will get a second bombing run here with at least 1 bomber. Takes out a second block of wind. Oh, he actually gets the 3rd bomber. 3rd block of wind goes down. There's a raid from the front. This raid over here is cleaned up quite nicely. And this, yeah, does look game ending because we've got shurikens coming in now. There is anti-air in the base, but, I mean, this army's going to be driven off by the Centurions as well. So it looks like Akumar lives to fight for another couple of minutes, maybe. But this does look dire. This raid over here has cleaned this entire area up. And now it's actually going to come around this way to clean this up, because I think he has seen it. Yes, he saw just a couple of things here. Does he see the commander? He sees the commander. And yeah, this is not looking great for Akumar. Sashkarin's expanded everywhere. He's got shurikens out. He's just got map control. He's got the army value. He's hit on all metrics. He's doing massive raids. And I think that is basically game. I'm calling it here. Game 1 goes to Sashkarin. But, you know, I've made these types of calls before and I have been wrong. So I wonder if Akumar has anything up his sleeve. It looks like he has 12 Centurions up his sleeve, which, let's be honest, that is a hefty investment. That's 3.2k. That is more than a T2 lab. That is almost as much money as Sashkarin has in incisors. That's wild. But there's the GG. Akumar calls it. First game goes to Sashkarin. Yeah, I think Akumar just really shot himself in the foot there. Building all those LLTs, the slow expansion, no aggression, no army value. Just having all your resources in static D is constantly going to put you behind. If we check the graph, actually, yeah, you can see Sashkarin was just ahead from minute 5 onwards. He was up and up and up. All right, that is game 1. Let's go check out the map for game 2. Here we are, the second map of this best of 3 between Sashkarin and Akumar. You just saw Sashkarin go 1-0 against Akumar there on our Eye of Horus game. Now we have Pools of Illis. The map creator Ned really cooked with this one. I really enjoy this map for 1v1s, and let me tell you why. First off, this is your spawning area here. It's some sort of box like this for both sides. And as you can see, there's a lot of mexes here. There is a decent amount of reclaim. You can't actually see it. Let me change the color here to blue-ish. And, oh, purple, I guess. So there is reclaim here, and there's reclaim here. And there's reclaim dotted around the map in some other spots too, but these are your main 3 starting reclaim areas. There is also in red here a geo here for both sides, and a geo in the center where the O is for Pools of Illis. And then there's also a geo on both sides here and here, which are not shown on this map. The wind is quite nice. It is 6 to 16. It is not great, but it is not terrible. The tidal is 20, which is decent. There is a pool in your base that you can actually spawn next to and go titles if you so wish. And there are obviously 5 geos, so 1 in each base, 1 on each side, and 1 in the center. The 96,000 reclaim, that is all the crystals, the purple circles that I drew, plus some more like in the center and stuff. So you do see a lot of people spawn in as bots on this map. Now let me go ahead and clear all of this away because you now know what we're talking about, roughly. Now, you have a lot of mexes in your spawn. I personally like to spawn here. You do see people spawn here, and you also see people spawn here. Let me just double check this is actually updating on the map. Looks like it is to me, and that is all I need. Let me shrink this down a little bit just to make sure that it is actually updating as I talk to you guys, because I'd hate to do this whole video and then realize that it's not. Okay, so there are these 3 spawn positions here. I personally, as I said, like to spawn on the southern one. That allows me to walk with my commander in a direction like this. And this gives me a lot of metal extractors and a strong forward position. Now, this map, when I was talking to the creator, was purposefully created to have these sides as richer metal spots, and the center is fairly barren. You can see there's only 8 metal extractors, including the 2 in your base. He's done this because it forces you to sort of play on the edges of the map, and the center of the map still is a viable point to hold and contest, because that is the directest route to your opponent. It's not single choke pointy, and there are a few hidden paths on this map as well. So as I was saying, you do see people mainly play bots on this map. I do like opening vehicles. I've seen one person open air on this map, but it is a very, very risky endeavor. So we'll most likely be seeing bot openers on this map with a spicy vehicle opener if we're lucky. And as I said, I like to com walk on this map, so that's probably what we're going to be seeing. But if we don't see that, I will personally be taking notes to see how much stronger or weaker it is. Okay, let's get on in to the next game. We're in game 2, and we can see right now, Seshkarin, not quite in my preferred spawn position, but is in one of the starting positions marked out on the map earlier. He's going to be Cortex, not quite sure what he's going yet, but he is building wind. The wind is nice, and on 15, we're going to hang out here for a little bit until we see what lab he's going. And Akumar is in a bit of a weird spot, so we'll talk about that when we get there. There is a Cortex vehicle lab by the looks of it going down. Seshkarin just deciding how much wind to build, and there we go, he's actually still can't decide. But let's go check out Akumar now. And Akumar is actually Armada vehicles. I love it, going for another 4 wind opener. Gonna be Armada vehicles, of course. But yeah, as you see, he's in a weird spot. You don't see this spot very often. You can see there is reclaim near him. Here's the rest of the reclaim near your base. And then there's a little bit more reclaim dotted around the map. So there's a juicy 12,500 reclaim. Neither player is bots, which is amazing for me, considering I do like to open his vehicles on this map. So we will be seeing double vehicles, Armada vehicles versus Cortex vehicles. Opening with a constructor, 4 scouts, and then into another constructor. I'm actually interested to see what Akumar does here, whether he com walks this direction, or if he com walks backwards, or if he goes to the center. I'm not quite sure. We do have scouts coming across for both players right now. Just trying to get a little bit of information. Both people have a single constructor out. Looks like they're both going to be building a second constructor roughly at the same time. Akumar slightly behind on the second constructor, but does have more scout units out coming across the map. Seshkarin sitting on a nice amount of energy here. It's fairly even economically because, you know, realistically, how much difference could there be in 2 minutes of a game? There can be a fair amount of difference, but this high level, not insane amounts of difference. First scout units are getting picked off. One scout does get through over here for Akumar. He's going to just really annoy Seshkarin by taking down that metal extractor nice and early. Taking away a little bit of mining time. Not too much, probably cost him about 20, 25 metal. Oh, you're kidding? 1 health on the metal extractor. That was so close. That's just bad luck for Akumar, really. You don't really ever see it go down to 1 health exactly. That's crazy. You can see it was 0%. Looks like one of Sashkarin's scouts got over here, but it didn't actually pick up any metal extractor, no value. Just a little bit of scouting information. Still hasn't seen the main base. Whereas Akumar has seen pretty much everything he needs to see. But yeah, the scout phase is over fairly quickly. There's not a whole lot left to do for scout units. Now it looks like this is all going to get cleaned up. Sashkarin with a lot more units over here. Single scout over here does get cleaned up as well. It looks like Akumar is going directly, beelining for the center. 2 cons in his base assisting the lab. He's now pumping blitz out. He has a single con at the back expanding. And his commander is heading towards the center. Okay, interesting. Sashkarin looks like he's con walking. Scouts getting cleaned up. 2 cons on the base once again, same as Akumar. 1 expanding this way. Commander going the classic commander walk path here. No LLT. Oh, there is an LLT here, but it's back in this corner. This is a weird placement to me. And no LLT here, which usually you do like to see them here, just for an extra layer of defense for these 2 mexes. Because quite often you'll see stuff come through the center and head this way, just to see if they can snipe those mexes off you. 3rd con comes out for Sashkarin. I can see scouts heading around the map, nothing too serious going on, just a little bit of scout foreplay to, you know, foreshadow what's coming in the future. With the blitz versus incisors, we do have a 3rd constructor expanding now for Sashkarin. Well, 2nd constructor and commander. Akumar still just has... He's got scouts running around his base. Nothing too serious going on right now. We'll follow this. Please excuse that camera. It does it the first time I track. For some reason. We'll follow this guy. Just to see what happens. But I assume not a lot is going to really be going down. And once again, please excuse my voice, guys. I'm currently very ill. Yo, he's going to pick this mix up. He gets it. That's actually huge for a single constructor to get that. Sorry, scout to get that. More scouts coming in the front door here. Just checking out what Sashkarin's doing. He hasn't really added on any more energy. He is dropping his 1st construction turret now. 2nd con for expansion coming out for Akumar. Another metal extractor goes down. Sashkarin's getting some nice value with these scout units, but as you can see here, he's actually behind economically right now. The only thing he's got going for him is the energy excess. Akumar's excess way more energy. Another constructor coming out. Con turret for both players is banging around their base. It's looking fairly even. Slight discrepancy in eco. Looks like Akumar's slightly ahead, even though he's built a lot more LLTs. He does have this middle section fully secured. You don't normally see this. Normally the person who does this is a little bit behind, but somehow Akumar has pushed that advantage. Pressed that advantage. Looks like this LLT is going to come up, so these scouts are going to have to go around the long way, which is going to bring them in range of, you know, the radar, which they already are, and some units if they see them. We'll just keep our eye on these guys, see if they get cleaned up by that LLT. Looks like they're going to be. Yep, they do. Meanwhile, there is a raid here. Few blitz coming in, going to get cleaned up by these incisors. They do get a metal extractor. Oh, the incisors turn back. He did the old bait and switch. One spun back around the other way. It's going to pick up that LLT. These 2 here are going to go and pick up this metal extractor. 2 metal extractors. 3 metal extractors and a LLT. Almost 4. Is he going to get the 4th one? No. He almost got that incisor over there, though. I don't know if you can see that health bar, but yeah, very successful raid from Akumar there. That was nice micro. Splitting that single blitz off and distracting those incisors, chasing those blitz just long enough to get the value that he needed. This raid here will get cleaned up, push back, no problems. No units on Akumar's side of the map. Akumar's really pushing. He's going for a bot lab transition. You don't normally see the reverse transition on the front line. Like, normally if you're making your way to the front line, you're not building bot labs at the front. I wonder what Akumar's going to be dropping here. Sashkarin's just making his way, getting those expansions. Still behind economically, especially the metal per second is insane. And that is due to this raid. Akumar has really taken the initiative this game. And he's got the lead in a stranglehold. He also has dominant map control right now. He's got more than 50% of the map under his control. And the big thing is, he's secured the center of the map without giving up the economic lead. Normally when you go for the center of the map like this, you resign yourself to having less of an economic advantage for that map control. It's sort of a trade-off. But Akumar has taken both. There is a bit of a raid coming through here, 9 incisors, but there is definitely enough blitz here to defend this if he plays his cards right, which it looks like he is not playing his cards right. He should be able to stop this raid before it gets any significant damage. It's just the reclaim field that's going to be a bit of a problem if this raid does continue, which it doesn't. 4 incisors is definitely not enough to do any significant damage over here. He might pick up 1 more mix if he's lucky. Maybe the LLT, couple of blitz, but I mean, I doubt we're going to see anything too significant here. Yeah, this is going to get cleaned up. Literally 0 damage there. Sashkrin's still pushing. He's got some LLTs. He's bringing a constructor with his commander, interestingly. I wonder what the plan behind that is. No high ground radar. Getting radars up on these high points do give a lot of vision, as you can see here. They give some beautiful vision to the, I think the radar goes over here. They do give some beautiful vision. Not all the way to the center, but that's what this bad boy here is for. So Akumar's actually going for more Centurions. He's really got a hankering for Centurions today. If it doesn't work, try again. Yeah, nice radar placements for Sash. This forward radar for Akumar is going to give him some nice information on the defenses of his opponent. He knows that pushing up this hill is going to be detrimental to his health, so he's most likely going to push along the slow ground. And we got Centurion Mace versus Incisor, and Centurion Mace versus Incisor is a fairly decent matchup for Armada here. It's not a big army, but it's an expensive army. You can see it's 1,500 metal. We got Incisors coming out, Incisors, Pounders coming out, backed up by the medium tank, the Brute, who defend this push. It should be able to defend this push. Reclaim bots coming out for repair and reclaim, of course. And Akumar is really putting that pressure down on Sashkarin. Sashkarin is sitting on a fair amount of metal. He's got decent energy income. You could probably do have a little bit more build power, I'm not quite sure. His commander is up here just securing this area. He's got a little bit of a raid coming. But you can see Akumar actually has a savage army up here, ready to defend. Akumar really covering all bases and just playing this expertly. I actually haven't seen this map ever be played in this exact fashion before. Akumar is actually teaching me something new here. And I did say at the start of this game that I would be taking notes on this. And I'm probably going to come back by myself and really analyze this replay to see if Sashkarin made any specific mistakes and what Akumar did to really pull this lead out. I mean, he's falling behind on metal per second now, but metal produced, he's 1,000 ahead. He's got the pressure on Sashkarin. If he can maintain this pressure and get control of this reclaim field, he's going to be in a really good position. Worst case scenario, Akumar gets pushed back and all this reclaim goes to Sashkarin. So we'll see what happens here. It's still not anybody's game, but Akumar is in such a strong position, especially with 2 labs up and running, one right at the doorstep of his opponent, and he has the army value advantage. This giant army up here, after rebuffing that raid, will come across here to rebuff this raid. This raid here will probably pick up some LLTs and a constructor. But this push on the front is probably taking a lot of Sashkarin's APM, you know, a lot of his attention. Looks like he's pushing it back. This raid does get cleaned up, some Janus in the back. The constructor goes down, the LLTs, the mixers. Not insane damage, but, you know, a little bit of damage, and that's better than nothing. Sashkarin going for a Geo up here. He's got a lot of metal in the bank. Like I said, he could do a little bit more build power, and you can see he is going to be adding that build power on right now. Akumar seems to be doing okay. He's got a lot of metal, he's got a lot of units. He still has a 30% army value advantage. He just really needs to not give up this reclaim field, and you can see Sashkarin's actually about to start overflowing. He's got so much reclaim from this. This is definitely a lesson here. The front line... Okay, we'll talk about this in a second. But the push, if you push this hard and pressure this hard, and you don't actually get the damage that you need to do, you do run the risk of donating a lot of resources to your opponent. Now you can see that Sashkarin's actually slowly pulling ahead in all economic metrics. And if you remember back to the graphs at the very start of the video, Seshkarin does thrive the longer the game goes on, and Akumar starts falling behind as the games go on. But we're only at 12 minutes, so it's still early doors. Akumar has a double-pronged attack coming, and he's got a T2 lab coming up. I assume he's reclaimed this lab. He has reclaimed this lab. He's actually stopped building eco back here altogether. This guy here is most likely going to get cleaned up by the LLTs, and the T2 lab is going to come down without a hitch. He's probably going to reclaim this. Yes, he does. And what's he going into? A single welder. Okay, we're going to see what he pushes with. I really don't like the Armada bot lab at this current stage of the game. I don't mean the current stage of this specific game. I just mean the way the Armada bot lab works at the moment. I just don't enjoy the units that come out of it. They just don't feel very strong. But we'll see if Akumar can pull anything off with it. This reclaim field, yeah, all fell into Seshkarin's hands. He's spending his metal now. He's dropping in bot lab, so he's got few T1 units. He's got the army value now, but T2 coming out is gonna quickly swing that army value advantage back into Akumar's hands. I wonder what Sesh's response is going to be once he sees the T2. He hasn't quite seen it yet, but he knows there's two armies pressuring him. Alright, Gunslinger is out as well. Seshkarin sees the T2 lab. Another Gunslinger coming out. We got the Webbers, the EMP Re-Spiders. I just call them a Re-Spider. The EMP Spiders that can also reclaim. Yeah, so a few Welders, Gunslingers, Webbers. This is looking like a scary army for Seshkarin to deal with. He does drop a T2 lab himself. He's got some red spots out. He doesn't have control of the reclaim field at the moment, but there is a lot of metal here. And this battle down here is just going buck wild for now. A few Brutes going up against Janus and Brutes. I think the Janus and Brutes should take the win here, but he is reclaiming behind it. Kumar shouldn't have run there. He should have actually gone for it. Or, I don't know, actually, the Pounders. No, that's right. I think pulling back's the right idea, but man, he's just getting up a lot of reclaim here. But at the same time, that pressure has just not been released at all. Kumar's floating a lot of resources now. He does have a lot of build power. He probably do have a little bit more energy in the back line. He hasn't built a single geo, which is kind of unorthodox for this map. But the fact that he's just got so much pressure on the front door of Seshkarin. Seshkarin going into two Quakers. I'm not sure if Quakers are the call here. When you're getting run down by Gunslingers and Welders, Quakers seem a little lackluster in my opinion. They do give you the range, but we'll see. This army is pushing in, takes out two more mixes. Nice concave here. He's not like just straight up throwing this army away because he doesn't want to allow Seshkarin to just straight push through to his base while he's doing this push. Seshkarin's commander is coming back towards base. Yeah, like I said, these Quakers, very good siege units, not great at defending a push that's actively walking towards you. Luckily for Seshkarin, Akumar has no energy, so he can't actually shoot these Welders. So the damage of this army is essentially halved, if not less at the moment. The Gunslinger is through though. They are picking up a little bit of build power. Static D's going down. You really don't want these converters to pop on top of you. They do though, but they don't take out too much damage. The self-repair of the Gunslinger will sort that out, and I think this might be GG. I mean, Akumar is crushing this. If Seshkarin can defend this and get some energy back up and running, he does have a Geo here. But this looks very dire for Seshkarin. I can't believe this worked for Akumar. Like I said, I'm really going to go back and dive into this, this game in my spare time and just really check out and run some numbers on what Seshkarin could have done better and just how Akumar pulled this off. This has been ridiculously good. Very aggressive gameplay style. It does really play into how I like to play this game. Armada for a start and then aggressive to boot. He does end up losing everything. There's 8,000 metal on the floor, but what good are all the riches in the world if you cannot spend them? That's a life lesson for you. And here we go. As I said earlier, there's that raid coming from the center to try and just see if they can get any cheeky damage on these mexes. And because there's no defenses here, they will. Sprinters, of course, absolutely average. But sprinters against nothing, like against absolutely no defenses, do good. You can see just basic LLTs clearing these sprinters away. But they still do find value. Sashkarin just dropping build power like crazy. He's got to rebuild everything, but there is another T2 army amassing. We got a sniper here. Man, Akumar really needs energy. You see, he's building these titles. He's been building them for a little while now, but still not enough. He does have an AFK con here. It is reclaiming now, which is really nice. Should have been doing this a little bit before. And it's going to be building up some energy. Maybe he thought he was going for the win. This guy here building a little bit more wind in range of these. I mean, he could even be building some A-Solars if he really wanted. I did see that these sprinters did manage to actually run by down here, and they're going to get even more value. Now, this is just going to be really annoying for Sashkarin. If Sashkarin comes back from this, I'm going to be thoroughly surprised. The way it stands right now, I think we're going to be going into a third game team. I think it's going to be 1-1. But, once again, I've made these calls before, and I've been woefully wrong, especially when it comes to Clan TM. So, we will keep our mouth shut for now, and we'll see how the game progresses from here. This does look scary, 4,500 metal in units. All he's got is a Tsar. He's got a Salamander out as well, and then a few medium tanks. Okay, this raid here is most likely going to get cleaned up before it gets any damage. I don't see what it can kill right now. He really needs to just get rid of that build power. If that build power goes down, then it's basically game. Okay, Akumar has basically fixed his energy problems for now. So as long as he keeps that energy up and running, these welders and these snipers can shoot. Snipers do take, what is it, like 1,000? 500 a shot? 500 energy per shot for a sniper. And welders take 35 energy per shot, so not a lot, but they do cost 20 per second, which is interesting. Transport. Sashkarin going for the AGO. I mean, I guess he does need that energy, and as long as he's got reclaim, he's got metal. He just needs to keep the build power here alive, keep the energy up here alive, and he can stay in the game. But double EMP bots. I think all we need to do is watch this. This is probably going to be the game-ending push. We have a sniper backed up by double EMP bots. One EMP goes off, two EMPs go off. The sniper is in range of the Tsar, and there is nothing to clear that sniper out. The Tsar basically goes down there. He might come back online. He does come back online, but with Webbers stunning him and Welders coming in, yeah, there is nothing really left for Sashkarin here, and surely this is doors. There we go, there's the GG. Well played, Akumar. Brought this game back. I was thinking to myself at the start, Sashkarin was a sure win based on how Akumar played that first game, but Akumar really turned that around and showed me that he's not just some chump out here playing in a tournament. He is a real contender. So we will be going for the final match of this best of three. Let's go and check out what the third map is. And here we have it. The third and final map for this best of three between Sashkarin and Akumar. We are currently sitting at 1 apiece here for anybody who's skipped forward through the video. And we'll take this time now to say, if you do enjoy these casts, please like and subscribe for Barcast. He is a living legend, and it really does help the Beyond All Reason community as a whole. And he deserves a pat on the back anyway himself. So, let's get into Archsimkats Valley. Now, this is a bit of a weird map. It's not my favorite 1v1 map, but I can appreciate it. You don't really see a lot of different start points on this map. Start points, spawn points for 1v1s. You do normally see people will start realistically in this position, or you will see them sometimes start at this little bit of a further away position. You do get people spawning down on this low ground as well, but very, very infrequently. It seems to be a less effective spawn position. And that's for a couple of reasons. So, the main reason you want to spawn up here, I would say, is for very, very defensibility. Very, very defensibility? It's very defensible. There's not too many places you can actually enter from. Let me just have a look here. Yeah, so there is only a ramp here and a ramp here. There is actually a ramp on the edge here. I'm not sure why the map is slightly cut off here. Hold on a second. I don't think I can change this. I don't really have time. There is a slight edge of the map cut off there, so you can actually get up where I drew that last line. I just don't have time to fix that time being here. Okay. That is the first reason that it is nice to spawn up here. You've got the high ground advantage. Units are slower when they're moving up the ramp, and there's only a few choke points to come through. Excuse me. The second reason is there is actually 8 mixes here. You got 3 wherever you spawn, would be it here or here, and then you have another 2 up here by the geo, and that brings us to our third point, which is the geo is nice and safe on your high ground in your spawn position. I'll be very surprised if either of these players do not spawn up on the high ground here. Now, some people decide to walk with their commander. They'll either expand this direction or they'll expand this direction with their commander. I personally don't like to walk on this map. I think walking on this map's a bit of a bait. It's very risky. You have to go quite far in between each metal extractor. What you'll see once you leave the confines of your base, each metal extractor is fairly distanced from each other. So there is a lot of walking time. And the time that your commander is walking is time that he is not utilizing the full extent of his build power. And of course, the second reason I see it is because it's very vulnerable. Because the mixes are so far apart, by the time you make it over here, imagine if your lab is here and you get attacked. Your units have to travel all this way to defend your commander if you lose your army on the front line, say here, and your commander's here, and he's all alone and lonely. Very dangerous. Very, very snipeable map if you're not careful. Of course, there's some benefits for com walking. You do have your commander's build power mobile, so it is easier to block off large chokes like this with LLTs and the such. You can put down forward labs easier as well. And it's just easier to defend those mixes as you build them, as the commander has that weapon on him. There are some pools in the center here. These pools are traversable by amphibious units. And I don't think that, they're not traversable at all by normal units. So these do create choke points, but they are also usable by amphibious and hover units. This is one of those maps where you do classically see a air transition fairly early. A lot of people do start bots on this map. As you can see, there's 420 metal reclaim, and there is 188,000 energy reclaim. There is some metal reclaim in your map here. It is only about 220 or something like that, or 210, I guess. So it is all the metal reclaim on the map for your side of the map is in your base. And obviously there's a little bit of energy reclaim. Sorry, excuse me. But the vehicle opener is still viable on this map as well. 2 to 19 wind, decent. Not the worst wind in the world. Anything up to like around 20 wind is quite nice. 2 wind is obviously not as nice. 20 tidal is quite good, but obviously the tidal locations being in the center of the map are very dangerous. So you don't really see a lot of tidals unless somebody gets control of a hefty chunk of the map. What else we got on this map? You've got these center geos in here. You don't really see people getting those unless the games go long. This is one of those maps where it can be... It's not really a map that is played in a short time. It normally, like the range, if I had to guess for the average of this map, would be somewhere between... I'd say you don't really see it ever go below 12 minutes. It's usually 12 minutes to like 40 on average. I'd say like 12 to 30. 40 is probably a bit of a long game. 12 to 30, whereas most 1v1s are like 5 to 20 sort of thing. So it is a little bit of a longer map. That is because of the rush distance is quite long between the 2 spawn points. And there's just so much ground to cover. It's a fairly big map, which is why the air transitions are always paramount. You got to get those fighters out defensively and the bombers out offensively. Also, Banshees are quite nice on this map because you can pick off these mixes that are distant from the enemy base. All right, I think that's enough of a rundown for you guys. Let's head into the game of Archsimkats Valley. All right, we are off to the races and roaring. We have game 3 between Akumar6 and Sash Karin. Seshkarin spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Going to be going the Cortex Commander. As I said, this is the position that you'd likely spawn in. You can see that all the metal reclaim for your side of the map is here. There's only actually 190, so there must be like another 20, 30 metal banging around somewhere. He's going to go in for a 3-mix opener. Obviously, he's going to get the wins in between, a single wind in between these mixes. There is a little bit of a walk time, so it won't stall him out on energy. If you do get all 3 mixes without walking, and you build a wind directly after, you can do it, but you will just ever so slightly stall out for a second or two. And at this high level, you've really got to work in those seconds where you can, because it can be the difference between life and death. He's going to be opening up as Cortex vehicles. So let's head on over to his opponent and see what he is up to. We've got Akumar6 going for the Armada bot lab. Once again, his classic 4 wins in a line. Nicely spaced, so you can actually shoot through here with your commander if any units come to attack. So if this was a wall where there was no gap, let me just show you real quick. So you can see that yellow spot means there's a gap there. So if this was spaced out like this, it's pretty easy like this, he can't actually shoot through that as easily. You still can, but boy, it's hard. So this just makes it so there is no trickery. He does get himself a solar. The wind is trolling. He's got himself a res spot, so he will be getting that metal reclaim instantly. You can see him going for that, and that should actually put him here ahead for metal produced by a small margin. You know, realistically, he should be about 200 metal ahead. But at the same time, the vehicle lab does have much more build power. Well, I wouldn't say much more. It has a decent amount more build power on their constructors, so they will be able to expand slightly faster. Also, the constructors for the vehicles are slightly more expensive, so that does balance it out a little bit. It does allow you to get more constructors as a bot player. Just a little bit more spam as a bot player. Little rascals slipping by the ticks, so they both know what each player is actually starting as. They should by now, and we'll use this scout unit to have a look at Akumar's base. You see his commander coming. He's going to clean that scout up, no problem. His first construction turret going down. You can see it's in range of that Geo. He's going to be ready to build that Geo as soon as he gets probably all of his mixes in his base. And yeah, as you can see, very defensible on the high ground. It's a shoo-in, I should say, for a spawn location. It's just a very nice spawn location. You see some LLTs going up for Seshkarin. He really doesn't want any of these units slipping by. There is a little path here, as you can see, that he can get through, but it does get cleaned up by those rascals. This basically just makes it so you can't rush a bunch of stuff through. They have to take a very specific path. All the scouts getting cleaned up. Let's have a quick look and see what scouting information has been spotted. Seshkarin has seen the basic layout of Akumar's base. Nothing too serious. He saw the commander here, so he can assume the commander's walking this way, or maybe assisting with that con turret as he was. Let's have a look. Looks like Akumar is walking, and Akumar on the flip side. Let's just watch this little battle. Akumar's vision, no scouting. He's seen the LLT and the radar. He knows that Seshkarin spawned up here and he's Cortex vehicles, but that's all the information that he has. See a little construction bot trying to hide behind those trees, running away from those scout units. I think he's overreacting a little bit here. He doesn't need to send it all the way back to base, but he is going to be wanting to clean up those scouts. Looks like cheeky rascals living up to their name, get into the back of Akumar's base and start clearing out some excuse me, infrastructure. And these rascals here are actually going to catch that construction bot, even though he was overly cautious and went all the way back to his base. This is actually a decent raid here. We got 1, 2, 3 mixes already going down. He's probably going to lose these 2. He loses this mix as well, and he loses the radar and the construction bot. This is actually devastating. He kills 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 metal extractors. He kills a construction bot and a solar, I think. No, he didn't kill a solar. Damn, that was a big raid. And yeah, you can see economically that Akumar is still slightly ahead. He is behind on metal produced, though. and Seshkarin still has this reclaim in his base. Obviously, it doesn't show up on the reclaim field because it's too small, air quotes, for it to actually be a viable reclaim field, which is kind of annoying on some maps, to be honest. Oh, I'm so sorry about my voice, guys. If this is an unpleasant listen, don't hesitate to put it down in the comments, guys. Let us know. And if you don't mind it, also throw it down in the comments. Let us know, because yeah, I'd feel just absolutely terrible if I threw a video up on Barcast channel forum and it was very non-well received. But I would rather know that than people blow smoke up my ass and tell me it was amazing when it wasn't. And then I'll literally take this video down and I'll just either redo it or yeah, I'll probably just redo it because I can't just not have one up for them. You know. Alright, we have incisors coming out to defend against the pawns. This amount of incisors should easily be able to defend against these pawns. Are these pawns going to turn around and run the other way when they see these incisors? There's not really much pawns can do to escape incisors. The incisors can catch them. They've got that movement speed advantage. The only reason pawns will get away is if the pawns were going uphill. But yeah, going downhill, those incisors will catch him. Alright, let's have a look at this expansion path. For Seshkarin, he has 6 construction vehicles. He's got double cons expanding this way. He's got a single con expanding to the center and 1 expanding to the side. He's got 2 in his base. He's got a con turret, not in range of the Geo, so he's not going to be rushing that Geo. And speaking of, Akumar already has his Geo going up. You can see he's going for that fast air lab transition. Either a bombing run, maybe, probably not Banshees at this stage of the game. It's probably a little bit too early for the Banshees because they're all about sniping those mexes, and you can probably ascertain just by how far you've expanded that your opponent doesn't have enough for the Banshee snipe to be viable. These pawns are most likely going to get cleaned up, and then we'll check back in on Akumar's base. But that Geo coming up will rocket Akumar into the lead for energy production. It'll really boost his economy. I really like the fast Geo. 19 wind at the moment. It's really not going to come into play just yet, but if the wind ever drops, Akumar will be in a banger of a position. Now he's double expanding this direction too. He's got a con expanding this direction. He's got a con expanding this direction, and he's got a commander expanding this direction. All I would say, there we go, I was about to say he needs something else going this way, and indeed he does. Now, he has a fair amount of expansion, not a lot of army, and he has that army knocking at his door. If these incisors decide to take this path, this could be bad for Akumar, but you can see he is actually queuing up a bombing run. He's going to be trying to get 8 bombers out. That is a hefty amount of bombers, and this is a sizable army coming for him. What is that? That is 16 incisors total. That is scary. He's definitely going to have to get some units out, but he doesn't have a bot lab at all. He reclaimed the bot lab for that bombing run. He does get himself more constructors down, so that brings him to 4 construction turrets. That is a lot of construction turrets for the bombers, but you can see he's struggling to spend his resources still, even with that build power. He is actually stalling out on energy a little bit, even with that Geo. And I mean, this is going to be a bit touch and go. It really depends on how Seshkarin goes with this attack. If he just went straight up this ramp here, he could actually get a decent amount of damage done. It could be game ending, but he of course doesn't know what we know. He probably thinks there's stuff here, at least some sort of vehicle or bot lab to defend this, but we know that there's nothing. And this is actually giving Akumar time to get those bombers out. He's got those 8 bombers. Here come the scout units and the fighters. We're actually not even going to look at Seshkarin's side of the map, and we're going to go with Akumar to see what he sees. And that way we have the information he has when he makes this bombing run. Whether it works or not is still to be seen. And I actually haven't looked. You can't tell if Seshkarin has any AA or not. Seshkarin obviously hasn't seen this bombing run yet. He's probably going to spot it soon when these fly over something. They are going to go to the edge of the map. So you can see units here for Seshkarin. So once they fly over this area, that will be revealed to Seshkarin. Now let's have a look. We'll follow these scout units because they should be the first ones across. Alright, so now the area has been spotted. We can probably assume that Seshkarin is dropping AA in his base right now. He's actually going for air. He does have some AA in his base. We see the wind. We see no Geo. And the bombers are going to go for Just the wind in the middle. There we go. He's going for that build power, I think. No. I mean, he does get a lot of that that energy production for Sashkarin. Not a devastating bombing run, to be completely honest with you. No build power went down. Sashkarin does get devastated in the energy department, but all in all, not enough to ruin his game. He has so much build power, which is why the build power is such a high value target in these bombing runs, because if this build power went down, he wouldn't be able to rebuild this energy very fast at all. But because there's so much build power, he can just instantly rebuild this energy. Obviously, the construction turrets are set to automatically repair things first, so your turrets will repair your base before they build the energy production back up, so you have to manually set them to build things. All in all, not a horrible bombing run, but not the greatest bombing run. He did actually sacrifice all of this for that bombing run, so you gotta remember, it's always a bit of a give and take. You gotta balance those scales in your head, and these players are doing that fine balancing act as they're microing, as they're macroing, as they're looking across the map, trying to ascertain what their opponents are doing. It's a bit of a oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's a bit of a trapeze rope walking act, and you've got to do it while juggling. It's a lot harder than it looks, guys. So Akumar's thinking to himself, did I get enough damage done? It looks like he took out a lot of energy production. I'm not sure if he realized how much build power was still left after that bombing run. I don't think he actually killed a single constructor. And hot tip for you guys, if you see construction turrets, they don't leave a ghost like all other buildings do. You can see that not a single construction turret is visible. There is T2 coming up for both players. Sashkarin going for the T2 vehicle lab. Naturally, still no Geo for Sashkarin. He's really betting everything on this wind staying up. I say as the wind starts to plummet faster than the stock market. But it is holding steady for now. And on the other side, we have Armada vehicles. Pretty wise choice in my opinion. I don't think Armada P2 bot lab is super viable on this map. It's kind of viable, but it is such an open map that you need that movement speed of the vehicles, in my opinion, and that extra punching power. You see that Sashkarin has a sizable chunk of map control here. It is still roughly 50-50, but Sashkarin owning this and this is the difference for now. Unless Akumar can take this position, Sashkarin is slowly going to be pulling ahead. Sashkarin going straight for the A Geo. Okay, I get why he's doing it now. The wind is trolling him, so this is not what I would call ideal. But them's the breaks. This is what happens when you go all in on wind. The wind will ruin you. She is a fickle mistress. And yeah, you can see he's really struggling to build that Geo. He still does have a decent energy income, so he will be able to build it at a semi-reasonable pace. Yo, he's even reclaiming the T2 lab. What for? Is he going air? It's not just to build the Geo. He had enough metal in the bank to build the Geo. I wonder what the reclaim was for. Is he going for a forward lab? What is this? He's also upgrading mexes. I mean, the wind really is the only thing holding Sashkarin back right now. He's got so much metal in the bank. He's got the T1 lab still if he really needs it, but he's going to use his commander to assist the Geo. Once this Geo pops, his economy will ramp. He can probably even stop building these solars now and get some build power, some mobile build power out to help assist expand his economy. Because you can see the metal per second is slowly heading towards Akumar, because I did notice Akumar has some mobile build power. He upgraded his mexes first. Now he's going for the A Geo. He already has the Geo, so he is going to be able to build it slightly faster than Sashkarin did. But the wind is trolling him too. He has enough metal in the bank to build this Geo. Looks like he's going to be going back into an air lab. And that's because nobody's been doing anything. So they both probably realize that each other are going T2 because there is a lull in the battle at the moment. The battle lines have been drawn and it's sort of quieting down. You would obviously think instantly, is my opponent going for a bombing run? is my opponent going T2. And they've both gambled on their opponents going T2. There's not a lot of AA up, but you do get a very decent warning, I should say, on this map. If you're paying attention, you'll see the aircraft here. I mean, maybe here if you're only paying half attention. And that does give you time to build anti-air. So T2 is the reasonable assumption to make here. Now, this is a fairly open area of the map, and I'm surprised Akumar hasn't put any pressure here at all. He's been focusing mainly on defending the bottom, but he hasn't really done a great job of the map control here. Let's check back in on Sashkarin's economy. He hasn't reclaimed the solars yet, but he doesn't need to. He has a lot of E-store. He's got 1, 2, 3 T2 cons expanding, and a commander. 4 T2 cons expanding and a commander. A little bit of a battle here, nothing too serious. Just, you know, a little bit of mechs dying. A little bit of a battle here, nothing too serious as well. Akumar has 1, 2. That's it. So Sashkarin, 3. 3 expanding T2 cons. So Sashkarin is actually pulling back ahead. He's even got his transports out. I love it. Maybe that's why Akumar went for the air lab. I think Akumar actually reclaimed his air lab. He did. He did reclaim his air lab for that metal back. He didn't get the transports. Sashkarin transporting the T2 to the front to get the A geo up. Obviously, Akumar is just finishing up his normal geo here. But yeah, this T2 geo is going to be a banger. You can see another T2 lab coming up over here for Sashkarin. T2 vehicle lab. He's going to go for that punching power here. There's no defenses here. This could be a misplay from Sashkarin if this army here just blows through right now. But at the same time, he is attacking through the center, hoping to draw some units away from this position. Is his gambit going to pay off? No, you can see those units are now moving, and I think that's the more interesting raid right now. They don't actually go for it. If these units just went for it right now, they could actually get through before any units come out of this T2 lab, and that would be devastating for Sashkarin. Losing 2.8k metal would ruin him. Oh my god, he's going to have to get units out. He doesn't have any metal in the bank. He's not producing from here. He's going to just go static D. Jaguars are susceptible to static defense. Lord Beta calls the RIP because indeed, losing all this build power, there is a lot of metal here. There is probably about 4k, sorry. There's probably about 4,000 metal in build power, lab, and static D here, and it all goes down. He can't even reclaim it, and that is a great pickup for Akumar. Another T2 lab comes down up here instantly for Sashkarin. He's not going to be deterred. There's the Lameo for Akumar. Yeah, I think that was a bit of a mistake from Sashkarin. That was very greedy. No static D, no army, and just naked construction turrets and T2 lab. That is wild. This is the most interesting game of the 3 matches, so I hope you guys have stayed around this long. I hope I'm entertaining enough for you to hang out, and if you skipped here, you know what, I don't blame you. I skip through videos sometimes too, when I just want to get to the action, or maybe I want to watch a specific match. So, just know that we don't hold that against you. A little bit of friendly fire from the Janus there, but them's the breaks. Would have made sense to bomb. Yeah, this doesn't look great for Sashkarin. He does have a solid energy economy, but if he didn't have if he didn't lose this, Sashkarin would be in a good spot. But he did lose this entire northern quadrant of the map. Actually, it's like a northern third of the map. Sashkarin going for a counter-attack. Looks like it's going to be pretty successful here. This is surely not going to stop this. It's going to do a little bit of defensive damage. Akumar's commander's a little bit out of position. Doesn't have the energy for the cloak. Sashkarin just doesn't see him. Ever so slightly off being able to see him. But he is invisible now. He's got that energy up and running. At the same time, he's still clearing up Sashkarin's things. Let's go and have a look at the base. This is going to be devastating when he loses this. 6 construction vehicles and a T2 constructor. But let's have a look at the ecos. We have shurikens coming out for Sashkarin. We've got a metal storage still. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not a whole lot of eco going on for Sashkarin right now. He's still expanding here with 7 constructors. T2 lab on the front here. He is building stuff to defend. Let's check Akuma. Akuma is defending this. This is all cleaned up. Nice reclaim field here for him. At the same time, he's only got T1 air. He's got a few fighters coming out. He's got a lot of resources in the bank. He needs to spend those resources. He's expanding up here. And he's expanding down here as well. If you can't see that, he's just got a couple of things expanding down here. And it looks like both players are slowly cleaning up the raids on their respective sides of the map. And I think this map is slowly rotating. We're playing a game of musical mixes. So Sashkarin is now expanding this way, and Akumar is expanding this way, and we're going to have a north-south battle instead of a northwest-southeast battle. It was kind of like an east-west battle to begin with, but yeah, now it's north-south. And this many bulls, 6,000 metal. Let me just go ahead and, for 1 second, guys, I'm sorry. I should have turned spectator chat off here. Here we go. Okay. Sashkarin is revealed. Yeah, and those bulls do run away. But the shurikens. Just a classic 500 metal in T1 units. Stopping, what was it? What did I say? Like 5,000 metal? 500 metal can stop 5,000 metal. No problems. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, shurikens are... you guys know how I feel about shurikens. How I feel about Cortex in general. Okay, Sashkarin is actually retaking the eastern side of the map here, the northeastern quadrant. And the battle lines are being redrawn again. Now let's take this opportunity as the battle slows down a little bit once more. Before this attack hits, let's draw some battle lines. Some spheres of influence. Well, actually, I can just leave this one as it is. Yeah, you can see that Sashkarin actually has 3/4 of the map. He did take a devastating loss here, but he has just been persistent, and after cleaning up this raid, he just pushes back, and it seems to be doing good. We got Banisher Tsar Tiger push coming in. We have anti-air up for Akuma. That's to stop the shurikens from getting that value. And yeah, basically, if you are Armada vs Cortex, you need to have a decent amount of anti-air at all times, no matter how big the map, no matter how far away the raid is from the main base, because Cortex has shurikens and they can just travel the map instantly and stun basically any units. They can even stun AA, so he knows the commander's here. Kumar might be in a bit of trouble here, but he's got to use that upward ramp to his advantage. He does just decide to back off. He doesn't want to sacrifice the commander. Pushing Sashkarin back off the center of the map. This Tsar Banisher push is hella scary, man. And what's worse, he's not even going to see it coming. He's going to get a nice flank. These units here should chase. And now, the first inkling of Banishers has hit the front line. Banishers, of course, do have anti-air. They can shoot up. Got an enemy behind the lines, but he does get cleaned up. Now, just as push is about to come through, let's quickly check this eco. He's got an air lab, he's got transports, no T2 at his base. He's got a single T2 lab here, and that's it. Alright, let's just watch this battle for a little bit. Give you guys some beautiful visuals. Lich! Oh, that was glorious. That was glorious. I do love a Lich. Armada T2 air, double Lich, perfect for commander sniping. He can get the AGO with a single Lich. He fucked up. Okay, second Lich makes it through the fighter field though. Where's he going? Where's he going? He's going back for the AGO in the center maybe? He's going for the T2 lab. He's going for the T2 lab. Much better than getting the AGO. The T2 lab is a viable target. Instantly one-shots it. Now, I was complaining about shurikens. You gotta remember, 500 metal in shurikens stopped 5,000 metal in bulls. 2,200 metal of liches just can one-shot labs. But that is a hefty investment and it can die very easily. You gotta remember, you would have had 4 times the amount of shurikens to have the same value as this single unit. So it could have actually stopped 20,000 metal in bulls. Excuse me. Alright, he got the T2 lab. Now he's going for the AGO. This is looking really, really good for Akumar here. He's going to sacrifice the Lich. Of course, the AGO is a giant bomb. But I think that sacrifice after killing the T2 lab and some army was actually super worth it. The res spots are coming out for Sashkarin. Another thing I do want to point out about Liches, they leave no wreckage. So there is no reclaim. There is no revive. Very, very strong unit. You've got to love them, but you do have to be good with the micro, because if you don't protect them, you've just thrown 2,500 meter down the drain. Another Lich comes out. Yeah, as you can see, those Banishers have tracking and anti-air. Banisher goes down to the Lich, though. Sashkarin's not in a great spot. He is building a fusion away from his base, which is very interesting tactic. The Lich is coming into the base. It is going to get shot down by that air, though. The fighter wall just not strong enough for Akumar to get through there. Maybe if his fighters were a little bit further forward, but that does get cleaned up. Sashkarin rebuilding the Geo. Constructor goes down. Yeah, this is all going to get cleaned up, no problems. Another Lich comes out. He could drop this bomb on the way. Would be kind of funny. He's really going for that second AGO. I think this is a bit of a bait. The AGO definitely not worth anywhere near as much as the Air Lab. I mean, kind of worth it, but Sashkarin has energy. Once this pops, it's already up. Yeah, you can see he's still got a decent amount of energy. Sashkarin with the smart plays, 2 fusions, will be more than enough energy just for now to get him back up on his feet. But yeah, I think the T2 lab would have been game ending. I mean, Sashkarin still has ground superiority for now, but Akumar is playing this very, very well. That music, very loud. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. Hopefully my voice still comes through. I would be devastated if I recorded this whole video and then my voice didn't come through the game. Over top of the game, I should say. So the battle is dying down a little bit again. Sashkarin building another T2 lab. I can't even remember how much value in T2 lab Sashkarin's lost. Well, let's do it. He's lost 1 here? Or has he lost 2? I think it's only 1. And 1 here. I think that's it. So it is only 5.6k metal. 32,000. But that is a lot. That is a lot to lose. Once again, Sashkarin with these forward labs. It just... so far forward, so risky. Against a lesser player, or if Sashkarin had a stronger, more tenable position, it would work, but he keeps building it with not a whole lot of backup for it. You see 2 more Liches coming in, and I gotta say the Liches are for Shawsies, the MVP. The MVP in this match. Anti-air coming up, clearing out those Liches. Well, one of the Leeches. Is he going to get this? Doesn't go for this. He's going for... what's he going for? The fusion? The fusion? He gets it. Huge. That's actually huge. 4,500 metal gone for Sashkarin. A little bit more energy gone. Sees the T3 lab, I think. Yep, so he does drop a T3 lab himself, starts building battle mechs, also known as Razorbacks. 2 fusions in the base here for Akumar. Akumar has got so much value from those Liches, it's actually insane. Another T2 lab goes down here for Sashkarin. Akumar might need to be sending a console over here to get this reclaim. This does not look good for Sashkarin, man. There is a lot of units moving around. Does Akumar know about this base? Kind of. Doesn't really realize that there is a bunch of fusions there, though. If he ever does, and this single anti-air goes down, he is going to be in trouble. T3s are coming out now. We got Shivas making their way to the front line. Shiva's a very, very good siege unit. Just a very good spam unit. They are the price of 2 bulls, I think. Yep, 1550. A bull is 950. They're actually cheaper than 2 bulls. So yeah, a Shiva, a very, very viable unit. It's basically a tier 2.5 unit. It's heckin' cheap, dude. It's actually cheaper than fusions. It's cheaper than T2 labs. Excuse me. It's... Sorry, not fusions. It's cheaper than AGOs, I should say. The same price as an AGO. And then the shurikens come out. Luckily, there's some air coming out for Akumar now to clear out those shurikens. And that will keep this push alive. One of the Shivas has gone down, but will be getting revived. Damn, dude, these bulls go to work on these Shivas. As I said, it's a tier 2.5 unit, so another AGO goes down. Now, this is a net loss for Akumar every time he does it, because he's clearing the AGO, but he's losing the metal and energy cost, I think. Hold on, let me have a look. 2700 and a lich is, yeah, 46. So it actually costs more resources to bomb an AGO, but you got to remember the energy lost and the potential stalling. The point it becomes unviable is when your opponent has multiple fusions like Sashkarin has. You can see he's got 5 fusions up, producing 3.3 thousand metal. So these AGOs are a bit of a bait. You'd rather your AGO get popped by an atomic bomber than your Shiva army. Shiva has no AA, and getting atomic bombed by Shivas is a surefire way to lose a battle. Shuriken's coming out, but we do have some Marauders. Marauders do have AA. And this is not looking good for Sashkarin. Akumar is crushing it this game. He's really pulling out all stops. First game was very shaky for Akumar. Brought it back in the second game, really played that aggressive gameplay. And then in the third match, really proving me wrong. You remember at the start of the video, I said as the game goes on, it gets more and more likely that Akumar will lose matches. That's the graph, that's not me. And Sashkarin more than likely to win. But yeah, you can see here that Akumar is really, really proving statistics. There can be outliers, and he is going up against one of the strongest macro players in the game, and he's keeping that pressure on. Not allowing Sashkarin to get a foothold anywhere. He's doing really good. He's actually allowed Sashkarin to get a foothold here. So I do make a liar of myself instantly. But you get the gist of it, you know. Akumar is playing this very well. I think Akumar's mistake is building Marauders here. Not a fan of Marauders. People love them. I think Marauders are only viable. Oh, that was a nice atomic bomb there. Marauders are only viable in maps with cheeky amphibious plays, or if you really need them to stop like a fast-moving T2 raid, or to do a cheeky T2 raid like with some Marauder backup. Almost every other T3 unit is better than a Marauder in my opinion. The best thing they have going for them is the amphibious, the move speed, and the anti-air. Those atomic bombers are driven off, but they basically single-handedly drove this off. We have a single Razorback backed up. This is going to be the screenshot that I give Barcast. I gotta remember that. I need to write that down for the thumbnail. Your atomic bombers, battle mechs, and Marauders all in a line at 33 minutes. Alright, Marauders have been revived. Shivas are pushing to the front. Let's check the economy. We do have a single battle mech in the back here. Alright, Sashkarin, 5,000 energy, 134 metal. He is ahead on all metrics. He has lost a lot of metal in labs, but it seems like he is just still pulling ahead. And, you know, I've been saying that Akumar's playing this like crazy, but Sashkarin's really ahead. I think what's really saved him is building these fusions up here. And just like keeping the space up here alive. because he really needed those fusions, and they came in clutch kind of here. God damn, I love atomic bombers. He's got 3 more. I almost think he's over-investing. Each of these atomic bombers is, like 2 of these atomic bombers is the price of a battle mech. And battle mechs are super strong, dude. But those atomic bombers are getting value. Akumar's commander's doing a little dance. Seems to be happy with where he is, but he needs to be trying to catch up economically. Sash Karin's just ecoing up, and this is what I mean. The difference between Sash Karin and other players is Sash Karin can still be fighting what looks to be a losing battle, but ecoing up the whole time behind it. And he's got these revive bots. He's picking up this army. Alright, 3 atomic bombers coming in. Does Sash Karin have enough to defend this? If they take out the T3 lab and these fusions, I mean, it is all over Red Rover. Is there enough AA here to stop this? Let's see how these atomic bombers go. T3 lab goes down. He used all 3 for the T3 lab. Oh, that's definitely not worth it, and they all go down. He actually lost value. That was a throw from Akumar. He did take the T3 lab, but that was so much resources. That was so much resources. And how much is the T3 lab again? I can't even remember. Do we have a bond banging around that I can quickly grab and look at? Here we go. 8.4. I mean, metal-wise, he got value. Just. But energy-wise, Jesus. Yeah, see what I mean? Like, the Marauder's just bold like a cheap piece of paper. Shuriken's coming out, stunning the T3 unit that has anti-air capabilities. But there's enough Marauders here. Uh-oh. Maybe the T3 lab snipe was better than I thought, because now Sash Karin has nothing to stop this push. Oh my goodness gracious. Is this going to be a game-ending push? Marauder's being proven better than I thought. Oh, the D-gun! Does get 3 Marauders with a D-gun. That might be enough to stop this push, but there is a battle mech slipping in the front now. There is enough build power here to keep this turret alive. Shurikens are out. Shurikens will be able to stun these T3 units. Is he going to get the fusion? Yes, but he's going to kill himself with it. Another fusion going down here. At the same time, though, Shiva push coming this way. We do have atomic bombers, so this should be able to get cleaned up. Oh, what? Boomer. Behind enemy lines here. Crazy that they don't attack atomic bombers when they land. But yeah, Sash Karin's base basically gone here. Holy, Sash Karin unable to spend his resources, but he is going for an all-in. Both players hobbling along. It's like watching 2 guys on crutches try and kick the crutch out from under each other. Two cripples having a foot race. Yeah, if this dies, Sash Karin was just taking a beating. And then we look on the other side of the map, and he's absolutely crushing it, dude. His whole base is almost collapsed. But now Akumar has no resources. He's got no defensibility, really. He doesn't have the same defense that Sash Karin has. His commander's in a good spot, but my god, if he gets seen, he's instantly dead. If this Geo pops, he's also dead. I mean, this is game, brother. Let's see if he's able to defend this. This is going to be a game-ending push, I think. Oh my god, Sash Karin's actually pulled this back. What a topsy-turvy game. I really wish that I'd cast this one first. This is definitely the most exciting one that we've watched so far. And I think this is game, brothers. Another T3 lab coming up on the front line for Sash Karin. You can see he's building more fusions in the back here. Like I said, he's just constantly macroing behind this. He's ahead on all metrics, and I think that we can safely say that Sash Karin has won this under the relentless assault of atomic bombers, our boy pulls it out. And there it is. There's the AGO gone. Akumar essentially has no energy. He's not going to be able to cloak and walk or D-gun. He can't build any more units. He can barely shoot with his battle mechs. They do cost a fair amount of energy to shoot with. If we check here, it is 1,000. No, it's not. 75 damage, 75 energy, 173 per second. Holy shit, he might stop this. Battle mechs are so strong versus Shivas, by the way, guys. He stops it. But there is no coming back from this. Look at the diff. A Seshkrin overflows 1.3k metal. Can we get some? Can we get some? I can't believe Seshkrin overflowed over 1,000% more metal than Akumar. In the chat. Oh, big W for Seshkrin in this game. I honestly would have crumbled. I would have crumbled like your nana's shortbread cookies. Now, I'm not saying your nana doesn't know how to bake, but her cookies are extremely crumbly. Holy. What does Akumar do here? What is his viable options? He's got no res bots. He's got no construction. He's got build power. But he's got no energy. This is troubling, to say the least. We have a single grunt in the back line. Oh, man. What a game. What an absolute game. While we've got this little bit of a quiet moment, guys, while we're waiting for the game to end, because I think it's all clear to us who is going to win this. There is no win condition for Akumar anymore that I can see. Actually, let me just quickly point one thing out here. When we saw that triple atomic bombers go for the lab, Seshkrin's commander was chilling here. 2 atomic bombers is all it takes to kill a commander. You don't even have to hit him directly. There was a win condition there. But yeah, I don't see a win condition for now for Akumar. I honestly just think there's no win. So let's take this quiet moment here to reflect upon what we've seen. There's some beautiful games today. Akumar started off a bit shaky, but really just these last 2 games have been top tier gameplay from Akumar. He's really pulled it out and done super well today. So I'll give a massive shout out to Akumar here. He really exceeded my expectations. I know he's a good player. It may sound like I'm saying he's not a good player, but it's not. It's the opposite. He's a very good player. I just didn't realize like how good he was, because you've got to remember the difference between the top 1 player, because currently Seshkrin is the number 1 player in 1v1s at the moment. Between the top player and the 15th player, that is what I thought an insurmountable gap. That is huge. Like, that is such a big gap. But yeah, Akumar is really showing us that with a little bit of grit and determination, some practice, some know-how, can-do attitude, you can really give an entertaining game and even take some wins. I honestly thought Akumar was set to win this game at some points here, but Seshkrin really pulled out all stops and held off. Akumar's actually dropping a second T3 lab, which is kind of crazy. No, he's reclaiming it because there's no way he has enough energy for that. Yeah, Seshkrin just pulled out all the stops, managed to get some cheeky energy production, just managed to hold it off. He kept his will strong. His will is as strong as a Shiva corpse. And yeah, just powered on through, grit his teeth, bared it, and won the game. I mean, he hasn't won yet. There is still, like, maybe a scenario where Akumar wins. Like, maybe Seshkrin just donates him 50,000 metal, lets him get, like, 3 Aphises up. Or walks his commander and gets atomic bombed or something at some point. But, I mean, yeah, this is basically how you going type deal. We got Starlights coming out now. Starlights do struggle against Shivas. But yeah, banger of a day. Calls of Illis was a banger of a game too. This game was definitely a banger. Now, it's not often that I see a 44-minute game. Oh, a little bit of trolling there from Sashkarin. There's the GG. As I say, it's not often I see a 44-minute game that I'm constantly enthralled by. Normally games make it to about 30 minutes and then they start getting a little bit dull, but this was just action, start to finish. I wonder if that was worth it. Guess we'll find out. GG, well played. Both players was OP there.
Indeed. Shame about the teammates though.
Let's check the graph. Sashkarin ahead the whole game. Just macro god. Just a macro god. Let's check. Yeah, energy produced, metal produced. One thing I want to check is damage dealt. Look at that. Akumar dealt so much damage. But the eco diff. Just hold on, let me pause this. But the eco diff was insurmountable, I think. Just Sashkarin's game sense is amazing, dude. Also, we do want to check units died. Yeah, just Akumar taking such favorable trades, but this just goes to show how paramount proper macro is. That was a terrible way of saying it. As the game gets longer, that macro becomes more and more important. But yeah. GG guys, that was very entertaining. Once again, if you enjoyed this cast, like and subscribe to Barcast TV. He fully deserves it. And hopefully he allows me to cast some more BPL games. I do really enjoy casting these games. And hopefully next time you hear me, I am not a sick little boy. I did give this a couple of days because I really didn't want to do it with my bad voice. But I'm running out of time. And I think my voice is just going to be like this forever. Alright, as always, I love yous and stay classy. See yous later.